are these people?
Cop 27, speaking of crime, not that kind of cop, but still just as bad. So this climate event that's been happening over in Egypt. Many of the world's wealthy elite have been flying their 747s over there, to make sure that we stop using our fossil fuels. Just in case people were wondering what was going on, this many, like that many, that many planes, like that many. Case people wanted to know, hundreds of private jets, which this event brought to you by Coca-Cola. Just in case people didn't know what that looked like, that's what that looks like. I mean, at least they're using an electric vehicle, though. You know?
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
At
moving
least.
the baggage around the right way.
This picture also great choice on that one. That time lapse must have been a long time to get all those planes. Had to time it all at the right time. This also great image, good images from this. The right can definitely meme. That's a nice meme. You know?
Yep.
Nice meme.
I agree. Another nice meme. Like this is just like, what are these Escalades? Like this is like that.
Yes, the Escalades,
These are the tanks. Like Obama made these popular, right? If I remember correctly, these Escalade limos.
Did he? I'm not
Chrysler
sure.
3. Well, he had like the Chrysler 300 ones. I remember. That's the one he
I
said.
think it was Dolomite actually.
Definitely. Rudy Ray Moore definitely did that. You know? What is it? Dolomite is my name and fuck it up motherfuckers is my game. Dolomite's great. Also Petey Wheatstraw, also a very good movie. People should check it out. Sponsored by Coca-Cola.
Oh, wow, man. You're kicking it old school there.
I know, right? Rudy Ray Moore's cult classic goodness. I love it to death. Have you seen Black Dynamite, like the parody of those movies?
I did, yeah.
There's so many. The Militant
funny.
Stand Startled. I love that movie so much. Anyway, brought to you by Coca-Cola. This COP 27, which is the world's top plastic polluter, in case people were wondering. Produce 120 billion throwaway plastic bottles a year. That's a lot. That's a lot.
Well, that's why they sponsored, because they now what they want to do is listen, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very much. They're
They wanna
sorry.
listen now and learn.
They're
They're going to
sorry.
speak less and listen more.
Right, they're going to speak less and listen
There's a
more.
lot of that going around.
Yeah.
Yep. So this event being hosted by a U.S.-backed military dictator who overthrew Egypt's only ever democratically elected leader and effectively killed him in detention. Remarkable how nobody is saying that. Craig Murray weighing in.
Well, you don't want to be a wet blanket.
Yep. Yep. Speaking of wet blankets, the official COP27 app being used as a surveillance tool for the Egyptian government. Here's what we know, says now this, which I have the footage. Play the footage.
So the Egyptian government might be spying on me? Turns out that the COP27 app is suspected to be a surveillance tool by the Egyptian government, which could put many activists and journalists at risk. The official COP27 app was flagged by cybersecurity analysis to The Guardian, saying that it was a cartoon supervillain of an application.
Also, The Guardian somehow manages to get leaks all the time. Don't know how that works. They must be friends. But anyway.
Reportedly, downloading the app allows backdoor access to collect data, including photos, location, and emails. All sensitive information that could be used to surveil the important activists and government officials attending the climate conference. Now, The Guardian reports that the app has been downloaded over 5,000 times, and I myself have downloaded it, which is concerning. While there hasn't...
Bro, you didn't need to tell us that. You could have kept that to yourself. You know, your L's you could have silent. It's okay. You know?
Been any official
Like-
communication from the Egyptian government or the UNFCCC about the app, experts have said that deleting the app is not enough to prevent a phone from being compromised. Now, there are
course.
other more obvious ways in which the country has instituted surveillance. For example, all of the taxis were outfitted with cameras and send audio and video information to a security observatory. There are also restrictions on organized protests. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi's regime has a track record of cracking down on dissent. While it's impossible to know how many people are currently being held in Egypt's prisons, Human Rights First estimated about 65,000 political prisoners in 2019. Now, we'll be keeping tabs on all issues related to COP26.
Yeah, they will. As probably will we. Zordon, I'm busy. Jesus.
So the Egyptian
But anyway, so we get Greta. Greta's here. Greta. How dare you, Greta? During COP27, we urge the Egyptian authorities to immediately and unconditionally release all those held simply for peacefully exercising their human rights, implementing criteria set by local NGOs for these releases, fairness, transparency, inclusiveness, and urgency. So, one of these prisoners is Alaa Abd El Fattah, who is now on a water strike since the beginning of COP27. I think this now is like 4 days of that.
No,
Like-
that's about the limit for the human body.
Yep, we're getting there. Also, he's been on hunger strike for months now, I do believe.
Oh, and now he went on a water strike?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
Yep.
he's not gonna last.
So, a system that doesn't address the needs for climate justice and security and human rights is a system that has failed everyone. We need to keep both in mind. 2 days ago, the Egyptian activist and political prisoner, this was on November 8th, stopped drinking water to protest against his arrest. His life is now in the hands of those fighting for his immediate release. This is his sister at Sana 2, speaking to you all at COP27. Hashtag free them all. And play the clip.
Während wir hier bei der Klimakonferenz in Ägypten Klimagerechtigkeit verhandeln sollen, sind Tausende, wahrscheinlich 10.000 Menschen in Ägypten in politischer Gefangenschaft. Einer von ihnen ist der Menschenrechtsaktivist, Blogger und Intellektuelle Alaa. Er ist eine der treibenden Kräfte gewesen.
So he's
hinter
Arab
dem
Spring
arabischen
guy.
Frühling 2011. Und neben mir steht Sana, das ist die Schwester von Alaa, mit einer ganz, ganz klaren Botschaft an alle da draußen, auch an Deutschland und die Bundesregierung.
I'm Sana, the sister of Arab Fatah, who's currently languishing in Egyptian prisons. We are British Egyptians. We've been urging the British government to get us proof of life for Alaa. Alaa has went on escalated to a water strike 2 days ago. He has stopped water. We're really worried about his well-being. I urge you to raise awareness about the human rights situation in Egypt. I urge you to talk about the political prisoners in Egypt. We're estimated to have over 60,000 political prisoners in Egypt, and the kind of relationship that now exists between our governments, the Egyptian and the German government, is not one that cherishes human rights. Egypt was for 3 years in a row the #1 purchaser of weapons from Germany. These are weapons we cannot afford and we do not need. We need these relationships to change. We need Germany to put human rights at the core of its foreign policy when engaging with the Egyptian government.
Yeah. So they still didn't even know at this point if he was alive or not.
Right.
So hold on. Every time I gotta pause it. Next one, please. Thank you. So Sky News weighs in a little bit. So they're bringing to light this altercation. Don't touch me. You're here on Egyptian land. The Egyptian MP was removed from COP27 news conference about jailed hunger striker Alaa Abd El Fattah after he questioned whether the British Egyptian was a political prisoner. And here he is, which we saw him in this video a minute ago.
Freedom of speech. Freedom of speech.
No, I am sitting.
Freedom of speech.
I am talking to her. She said that we are not from the Egyptian authority. No, don't touch me. I am the Egyptian parliament. No, you don't. You are here in the Egyptian land. You are here in the Egyptian land. Don't touch me. You are here in the Egyptian land. Okay? I will sit. I ask her the question. She should answer me. Okay. She said that you are from the Egyptian authority. You are not from the Egyptian authority.
That's fine. So let's discuss it. Let's discuss it.
And that wasn't enough. He wasn't spared.
Just a little bit of like, you know, do you know who I am? Sprinkled in there would have done well, I feel like. So he essentially is questioning whether this is just a political prisoner. He's saying the guy was like a terrorist of the state, essentially. Which is the claim. The Arab Spring generation is a generation that is tired, that is exhausted, that has languished in prisons and in morgues. Enough, says that same sister we saw earlier. So yeah, the 2022 United Nations Climate Change Conference, more commonly referred to as the Conference of the Parties of the UNFCCC, or COP27 for short, is off to a great start. Real good start so far.
Well,
hopefully the next one in Dubai does a little better.
We were talking about this a little bit on the live stream yesterday. I take in everyone's media, including the right wing. And you said the right memes really well. Yeah, they're having a field day with this because the right very effectively points out the hypocrisy of these events to reinforce their argument, which is not incorrect. Like, they're coming from a place of they don't want to do anything about climate change. That part I don't agree with.
Yes.
But their basic premise that this is something that they're going to put on your shoulders while they fly around on their private jets. They're going to be telling you to eat cricket burgers while they can still get a nice hamburger. They're not wrong about that. And they'll use that to frame the immigration debate, because they'll take people, celebrities speaking out for refugees, and then they'll talk about the neighborhood they live in, where there's not a brown face to be found within 20 square miles. And they'll show the houses they live in that they're not opening up to any refugees. And you know what? It's a very effective line of attack that they're the elite spokespeople for a lot of these causes very much live in a spirit of do as I say, not as I do. Yeah. They themselves are not willing to make any kinds of meaningful sacrifices. When you have $100 million and you give away $1 million, it's really not a sacrifice, right? So they very effectively manipulate what is a reality. It's right down the strike zone. This kind of conference makes it very easy for them to discredit the entire climate movement by putting this face on it.
Well, look who shows up. Look who shows up. We have Emmanuel Macron, Rishi Sunak. They're here.
Right.
What does the body language expert say about this one though? Can we get the body language expert in?
Awkward.
Sure. Why is this weird gripping elbow pushing away like it literally is like your thumbnail of 6 things I hate about you the other day. Like, it's literally that pose. It's like you need,
take the damn picture, take the damn picture, take the damn picture, take it,
hurry up.
No, you know what it is? You know what it is? I'm looking at this. They're probably realizing, I gotta take like camera. So it's just like, just getting the pose ready. That's what it looks like to me. Because it's funny because I did create that thumbnail. It's the same pose.
It looks like one of those Burlington Coat Factory ads.
Well,
a little bit.
Yeah, I think like the screenshot I got of Rishi Sunak for that thumbnail I did, it may have been from GQ, but it definitely looked like GQ-esque, like kind of model stand. So I feel like that's what Rishi is doing.
Madonna taught him how to Vogue, is what you're telling me?
Yeah.
That's what you're saying?
sure.
Gotcha.
I'm not sure what Macron is doing.
Jesus Christ.
Ugh. Like, so this is the dude here. We have I don't know if this is the right I expect, but whatever. Paul Joseph Watson on Twitter. This is the dude who will be lecturing you about your carbon footprint at COP27, which how much does he pay for a private helicopter trip to a Tory dinner? £10,000.
Yeah. And listen, Paul Joseph Watson is maybe the best at this of any of the right-wing commentators that I know. He is really, really good at illustrating elite hypocrisy on left issues.
Yep.
Left
well, and
social
it's like,
policies.
what? Also, why would he pay £10,000 when his ears are clearly capable of flight? Like,
Yeah,
clearly, you don't need to pay that much, man. Just like, you need a ramp.
Well,
That's all you need.
I was watching. Russell Brand dug up a little interview that he was doing, before he became prime minister. It was him and his father, and he was saying, I have friends of all different classes, working class, and then he caught himself. He said, "Well, not working class."
No, I think I played. No, I played that clip. I think I played that clip on that stream.
Yeah. It was hilarious. Like, well, I wouldn't go that far.
So here's Rishi, old Rishi. We need to act faster on the climate emergency, says Rishi Sunak. We need a greener planet and a more prosperous future. It's morally right to honor our climate pledges, and yet our PM comes away from COP27 with a gas deal. Bam, bam, bam. Climate hypocrisy at its worst. The Telegraph. Rishi Sunak to strike gas deal with U.S. to ease energy crisis.
I think you would have needed chunks there.
Yeah.
Well, this is something we've talked about on the show, and it's a conundrum that the left hasn't even begun to talk about. There may not be a democratic way to deal with the climate crisis. Look how people reacted to an increase in gas prices. So how are they going to vote for higher energy prices? They're not. By the time you make alternative energy more cost effective than gas, it's too late. It's too late for the planet.
Which they can't, because a lot of the parts are not, and we reported on this too, are not necessarily compatible for the shit here. But then not only that, it's like for electric cars, for example, they're not cheap. So it's like you're gonna ask again the working class who has no money to switch to an electric car that they can't afford, and then like our transportation infrastructure, this being in New York, is shit. So like literally falling apart, so so it's just kind of like a worse situation here. Like they want us to do all these things, but yet they're not giving us the means to have it, and then and it's not accessible to us. So
the things you would need to do, the people are not going to vote for that. And if you try to do it, they're going to vote for the first person who promises to undo what you did. Yeah. This very well just might be something that democracy is not equipped to deal with.
So, people who've been trying to deal with it, although weird tactics, Just Stop Oil. I don't know if you know those peeps. They're the ones super gluing themselves to Monets.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah, they're a little weird, right? Like very convenient. They all come out now. I mean, I'm not saying, but I'm saying. So if you missed Rishi Sunak's speech at COP27, you didn't miss much. Despite talking about the climate crisis, he managed to avoid the words oil, gas, coal, fossil fuels, emergency, crisis, heating, heat waves, fire, and death. Until we stop licensing new oil and gas, these words are our legacy. So,
what did he say then? I'm just curious, what did he say?
Well, here we go. We have a little bit of what he said,
Okay.
followed by a bit of a bamboozle, because why would we want to watch him anyway? You know, a little bit of a bamboos. Play, load, play.
We can bequeath our children a greener planet.
Bequeath. Sorry, my inner butthead. You know.
And a more prosperous future. That's a legacy we could be proud of.
Over 1,000 people in the UK died in just a few days because of the 40-degree heat, because of the climate crisis, which is fueled by oil, gas, coal, fossil fuels. And our government, they want more. It is an act of murder. And this is an act of self-defense. And we need you to join us in order for this to work, in order for our murderous government to take action and listen. How many more people in Pakistan, in Nigeria have to die before they listen, even in the UK? We will stop as soon as the government stop new oil and gas. Please join us. Civil resistance is all we have left.
The Oscar goes to Natalie Portman, everybody. Natalie Portman gets the Oscar.
See, this is the problem. Can't we get less off-putting activists? Come on, man. I mean, they've got to exist. Can't we find sympathetic people to speak for the cause? Can't we find people who are not bound to make people say, so what do the other guys think about this?
Yeah. I mean, literally, that felt like Natalie Portman had to do it, you know?
Yeah, she was having her moment.
Yeah, it was like a Black Swan scene. It was good.
Yeah, she was emoting.
Yep, very much so. You know, let's look at what else has been happening. If it'll let me, there we go. So, meanwhile, what happens to Rishi? He's rushed off the stage. Oh, what happened? What happened? He got rushed off stage. Why would they do that?
He ate too much tikka masala.
Tikka masala. We're in Egypt, right? What would we have in Egypt? Like hummus, delicious.
Sure, but that
falafel. Yeah, they're the only ones who make it with fava beans, though.
Okay.
Everyone else makes it with chickpeas.
Obviously, with Chianti on the side, you know.
Nice Chianti, yeah.
There he is. He's got to get out of there. Why is he? Come on, let's go.
That's his wife with him.
No,
that his wife?
Yeah, looks like it.
Well, the pound.
I did not know that.
He's probably going and transferring his currency to the yuan.
That's probably what it is. He's got a couple of offshore accounts he needed to like shore up a little bit.
So motherfuckers keep super chatting us with that because they know it's not going to be worth anything tomorrow.
Here's one of the reasons he was moving so fast. Vice News Matthew Casel tried to ask the British Prime Minister to comment on a law that Arab Spring guy we heard about earlier. Sunak is literally running away. And pay attention to Collin, who's saying his wife, what she has to say during this altercation. And action.
Is there sound for this?
Prime Minister Sunak is going to demand Alaa Abdel Fattah's release from prison. There's a British citizen on hunger strike in prison. Are you demanding his release?
We've already done a pooled clip that you can have an international pooled clip you can have access to.
What will be the British government's response if a UK citizen dies in prison? Are you going to demand that Egypt release British citizen Alaa Abdel Fattah from prison? Prime Minister Sunak, can you make a comment on that? Can he make a comment on it now? Prime Minister Sunak, just a comment on the British citizen. A comment on the British citizen who's right now on hunger strike.
So yeah, not liking that question at all. And there's an international poll clip you can use that'll explain everything. I'm sure it will. Yeah. So fun stuff. So we also have this guy show up. President Macron addresses Venezuelan President Maduro at COP27. Not so long ago, Maduro was an evil dictator, but today there are many barrels of oil. Times are a-changin'. So here they are in case you need a video proof. You know, there's Macron. I like the translator. ¿Cómo estás? Excelente. Cada vez mejor. You know, I like how translation is in Spanish because we all know Spanish. You guys know Spanish, right?
I do.
Proud of you. Now you can translate for the rest of us who don't. You know, it's okay. They didn't talk very much. You heard what they said.
He said, "How are you? What time is best?
Yep.
When is best?"
Sí, él me dice, sí, tenemos buenos amigos en común. Nous avons de très bons amis en commun. Exactement. Et là maintenant, le continent est en train de se recomposer.
It's going too fast.
Yeah, I think they're talking about oil and stuff, if I remember correct. France tiene que jugar un papel positivo. What?
France has the paper. It's positive.
Yeah.
France has the paper that's positive. But
luckily,
that's play.
Hugar, yeah. Yep. Tiene. Prince tiene que. Tiene's like what, right?
Well, no. Tiene is France has.
That's it.
Francia tiene. France has.
The play on paper.
The play on paper.
What play
is positive? That's the part I don't get. The play part. Like
yeah,
what?
That's weird way to say that.
He give them a play. What is it?
It might be something specifically.
I'm intermediate. I'm not
right. I'm terrible too. So, Venezuela's Maduro goes from being on U.S. wanted list in 2020 with a 15 million reward for his capture to shaking hands with John Kerry in 2022. Video from Egypt today at COP27. Here he is meeting with Kerry. Which like, when's the last time you seen him rolled out? Been a minute. Which you know who he was there with? Like, he was there with well, first of all, he was there with Bloomberg. We'll get to it in a minute. Bloomberg showed up too. To just a party all around. But luckily, Kawasishu News is much better at their Spanish translations than we are. So we get some of his speech translated for us, which he mentions that capitalism is the cause of environmental disaster. At least someone's saying it.
Será inútil, como ha sido hasta ahora, cualquier esfuerzo que emprendamos para paliar las consecuencias de este desastre ambiental si no tenemos el coraje de reconocer que esa y no otra es la causa del desastre que se avecina. El capitalismo consumista, el capitalismo voraz, depredador y destructor.
Any questions?
Glad he said it, but no one's listening to him.
No, we are, which is nice, you know.
I gotta say, this is more complicated than I expected. I thought COP27 was the male stripper at Anna Kasparian's bachelorette party. I didn't think it would be this complicated.
Well, I mean,
I didn't prepare.
He was the one with the nice news skirt. What do you want from me? You know, like, But anyway, Venezuela advocates for the protection of the
How long
Amazon.
were you waiting to say that?
A few minutes. I thought of it a couple minutes ago.
Nice. So here he is talking about the Amazon.
Señor presidente, abogamos como país soberano por la protección de la Amazonía. Venimos de un encuentro con el presidente de Colombia, Gustavo Petro, con el presidente de Surinam, con los movimientos sociales suramericanos, para asumir responsabilidades como habitantes de Suramérica en la salvación de la selva y la biodiversidad del Amazonas. Milenios de existencia han dejado una huella irreparable en el Amazonas. Por el contrario, creemos que son los pueblos originarios quienes deben enseñarnos cómo salvar y cómo convivir con la naturaleza. Las culturas ancestrales y originarias de todo un continente, de los indios originarios Sioux del norte de América hasta los Yanomamis de la selva amazónica, han concebido siempre a la tierra y a la selva como un ser vivo que siente y piensa como nosotros. Despertemos a esa verdad y salgamos de la arrogancia antropocéntrica que nos impide ver lo sagrado que es el mundo.
I mean,
Kelly in the chat is saying, I keep waiting to see small red sniper dots on his face.
Yeah.
No, that's not going to happen because he's validating them, in terms of him speaking all of this.
Yeah, he's here.
So, no, they're not going to snipe him down for that. If
No.
anything, they're grateful for him for this. So.
Well, Canada brought some oil and gas representatives in its delegation, in case people wanted to know what they were up to while they were here. But Trudeau's not there because I think at the last COP he didn't have a good time. But meanwhile, Mikhail Bloomberg today at COP27 joined climate envoy to announce SCALE, the subnational climate action leaders exchange. By partnering with the State Department, cities, states, and regions will have new opportunities to lead the world into a resilient net zero future. So great ad copy from Mike. Did good work reading that script.
He would have been a great president.
I'm sure, yeah, with his billions of dollars in exploitation.
Then at least Abrams would have gotten a cabinet position.
Exactly. And he would have been on Star Trek too. God.
I'm pleased to announce that the United States State Department and the Bloomberg Philanthropies are together supporting the launch of a new effort to take subnational climate action up to the next level. They are going to support cities, states, and regions in the development and implementation of net zero policy. And they're going to help to change our entire approach.
John, thank you for your leadership and partnership on climate change. We launched America's All In, and we brought together cities and states, businesses and universities, tribal nations and religious institutions. Together we showed the world that the American people remain committed to fighting climate change. Partnerships and along with national governments, cities, states, and businesses, that if they add up together, they really can make a big difference.
I want to thank Coca-Cola for sponsoring this event. I know I tried to put you out of business a couple years back. Nice that you can move on from that.
We'd also like to make
who played Bloomberg on SNL. I can't
remember.
It was Fred.
We'd also like to thank Mentos, the fresh maker.
This is. I mean, I criticized certain elements of it. Me and Keaton, that was the first fight in our marriage, I think, over Michael Moore's Planet of the Humans. But that was something that the film nobody else has really dealt with.
Yeah,
Like,
I love
it re-
that movie, and Russell didn't like it, but yeah, I mean,
no.
that's exactly...
I liked certain things. There were certain things I felt were dishonest, and what pissed me off about it was there were so many great points to make. And when you make a movie that is so going against leftist orthodoxy and dogma, you really need to cross all your T's and dot all your I's. And they didn't. They got things wrong that they could have gotten right. And when you do that, man, you make it so easy for them to discredit the entire movie.
I mean, I watched it again, and I don't want to rehash the argument, but when I watched it again, it was pretty obvious that they were telling a sequence of events dating back from his early days of environmental activism through the present. It was pretty obvious, even though they didn't put title cards with certain dates on certain things, because the charge against that movie was that some of the arguments they were making were dated. But he goes back. Oh, yeah, in the 90s, I went to, I started in Vermont, and I went to this, green energy concert or whatever. And it was pretty clear that this happened a long time ago. So anyway, whatever.
No,
but
I mean,
it did focus on how a lot of these
shit like this,
figures and a lot of these environmental movements are really just for show. Like it's just a PR opportunity for them. It's a
way for billionaires like Mike Bloomberg to buy some goodwill with the public, right?
Yeah. It's
hey, we're not bad actors. We're saving the planet, so let us keep our money. What are you going to tax us? We're saving the world. Would you tax Superman? No.
Right.
Kelly in the chat asks, so were there any actual climate activists there? I looked for how long?
Only that really off-putting one.
Yes. Well, she wasn't even there. She was still in England. She couldn't make it.
She wasn't even there.
Yeah.
At least she didn't take the private jet, so
yes,
for ideological consistency.
Exactly.
Look, if you want, why don't you guys go after Mondrian? I fucking hate Mondrian. Fucking leave Van Gogh alone.
Yeah, I looked for a while and didn't see many. But who I did see, along with John Kerry, was World Bank President David Malpass, who's presenting the new Scale Trust Fund for results-based climate finance. Whatever the fuck that means. But
sounds good. It sounds good. Sounds like something's happening.
Here's what he's going to tell you it means.
This is the missing piece for the world community. Scale will help countries build a track record of projects that unlock private sector financing for international carbon markets.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. What does that mean? Can anyone explain? Okay. Like, whatever that meant.
I thought this was a segment about a male stripper.
Yes.
unless you
my
had,
pay grade.
Yeah, unless you had like an international law about cap and trades, like I don't know what that means.
Yeah. So what it might mean is that like Ramaphosa, South African. I see. Every time I say South African, it happens. But needs 90 trillion for just energy transition. So that's probably what those scale trust funds are going to be for, similar to how people have accused both Russia and China of economically courting the global south here. So does the goose, does the United States. So yeah, economic warfare. Woo! Yay. But which he all met with this nice hair lady. Everyone knows this hair lady. This is von der Leyen, right? German Prime Minister, not Prime Minister, like underneath
Chancellor.
Merkeler, yeah, Chancellor, whatever. Führer. I mean, Germans have weird leader names. All right, what do you want from me? You know, but yeah, here's Ramaphosa getting the double kissies. He got like the European kissy going on. Oh, Carrie gets a double kissy. She's like, only two. You remember what happened last time? You know, just 2 kissies. Like, also, it wasn't Rishi? Rishi snuck in there? He got to join the cool kids club?
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Like
Yep.
posing.
He was hitting his like Burlington Coat
That
Factory
man,
sit.
like I am more convinced now that man. There's a camera that man doesn't like. He knows. He's just kind of like, look
He
good.
knows where that camera is. He's like, yeah, I see you. I got you. Look at you, looking so good, being a camera and shit. You know? So there's a few people that might question and voice some opposite opinions here. So Economic Freedom Fighters says Ramaphosa has once again committed to destroy South Africa's coal industry to his imperialist handlers in COP27. We must defend the coal industry from hypocrites of the West who built their economies on coal and today want to tell us that we must abandon it. And action.
And there is no coal, by the way, that is going to be closed here by Cyril Ramaphosa and his friends. If they close it, we open it. And we'll sell to whoever we want to sell to. We're not going to listen to that nonsense. People can't build their economy through coal. And then when they are well off, come and say to us, no, you need to close coal. We agree that eventually it will happen. But it can't be abrupt thing that we are just told, hey, everything is done, we are going to give you millions. Go. No, we're not going to do that. We need to protect our coal industry because to close it will be to close the economy of many of our provinces. So we're not going to allow that. But
thoughts, Collin? Anything
on this or
yes?
Or,
sure.
This is hell. Just you know, like it just reminds me. Honestly, it just reminds me of college. You know, being in a room with all these hobnob, neoliberal fuckers. You know, talking a good game as far as like, yeah, no, it literally like I'm having flashbacks right now, which is kind of scary. But it just reminds me of that, just in terms of like, you know, these rich bastards who are talking about like, for me, because I went to Boston College, you know, like talking about, oh, like I'm going to you know, going to build houses down south for spring break, you know, as you know, like because that's my good deed, you know, or that kind of bullshit that, you know, that I was kind of subjected to, you know, in college. This is what this reminds me of. It's the idea of like these rich bastards are getting into the room in the guise of, you know, talking about climate change when they're doing it for profit for themselves, and exploiting their constituencies in their countries from it. This is just what this reminds me of. So,
well, there's a writer. His name is Anand Giridharadas, I think his name is. I forget. I don't know how to say his last name. But he wrote a great book. Giridharadas. He wrote a great book called "Winners Take All: The Elite Charade of Changing the World," and it was all about this. It was all about how the elites try to create the impression that they are needed and that they can be partnered with to create positive change. And they create this whole setup to convince people that they are allies of the ordinary person in creating a better world. And what that does is it neutralizes the idea that there is a power struggle to be had between elites and ordinary people, right? This doesn't have to be conflict. This doesn't have to be an adversarial relationship. We can be partners.
Right.
Right.
But I think also just
Well,
as far, like
he gets into how it starts in the universities, like how at one time social justice oriented people would have been looking to go into you know, social work and political activism, And basically, these corporations go in and they sponsor workshops and they sponsor college departments. And these kids are convinced that the way to solve these problems is through a startup.
Yeah.
To do it through capitalism.
So anyway, as we head over to more of the global south, we head to Zimbabwe, who their president, Collin, I'm gonna let you run with this one.
Nope.
No, you can't. Nope. You can't nope on that. These are nope.
Nope.
I think it's Mnangagwa. I think.
Sure. Sure.
I think.
Sure. Like, I love how you give me the African names as if you think that I can.
Yes. International black man Collin, who's been to Africa.
Black man Collin, who has very like far removed from his African ancestry, who cannot read these names for shit. So
not my fault,
sorry.
brother. Not my fault. You should have been knowing. You should know all the languages by now. You are failing your people. What are you doing?
Well, Zimbabwe's not my people, so there you go. So
truth. You know. What you mean? You mean y'all don't talk the same language? What? Anyway, luckily
our friend.
They also tend to speak English, you know.
Yes. Sound, sir.
Goals were it not for the albatross of illegal economic sanctions imposed on our country. We demand the immediate lifting of these unwarranted and punitive sanctions. Zimbabwe is committed to be a friend to all and an enemy to none. And we are ready to play our part in addressing climate change and other challenges that face our world. In conclusion, Your Excellency, at this COP27, let us from the developing world act as a countermanding bloc of victims of climate change. We need to negotiate and vote as a bloc through the group of 77 plus China. Only then are we likely to carry the day. We can and must act now to secure a healthy planet for the present and the future generations. I thank you.
Yeah.
Love
Albatross.
How the Global South calls out the West.
Isn't it nice?
Like, you Western devils. Like,
you imperialist motherfuckers. Like that shit. You know, the albatross around their neck of economic sanctions. Right. Also, like, why'd they put the echo on them like that? I mean, come on, audio guy.
Oh, that wasn't you.
No, that was just I think it's just the space of the room, but yes. But yep. So we saw this lady here earlier. She was allowed to open her face hole for some reason. 2022 brought tectonic changes in the global energy system. Europe is shifting fast from Russian scum fossil fuels to renewables. This is unique growth opportunity for our trusted partners, especially in the global south.
Who have nothing to do with you at this point.
Yeah, you mean the ones you exploit? Those people? Those people. Okay. We'll let her remember that part.
Opponent in that. So, Madam President.
Thank you so much indeed. First of all, I want to thank you, Mr. President, and you, Mr. Chancellor,
for this roundtable, the invitation to the roundtable. It is absolutely the right topic at the right time. Because I think what we see the year 2022, there are tectonic changes in the energy market. It has to do, of course, with the war that Russia unleashed against Ukraine. 8 months ago, the war started, and since then we've seen skyrocketing prices for fossil.
Climate change started by Russia. FYI, the Russians did it. Started at the war in Ukraine. Climate change, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what it started with.
To really Peter the Great.
Yes, yeah. You get where I'm going here, you know. But anyway, she continues.
Fuels. The driver for that is the fact that Russia has cut 80% of the pipeline gas to the European Union.
How'd that happen though? But how'd that? But like somewhere in a sea with a pipeline, Navy SEAL team and some explosives. Is that what we're talking about? That one right there. They shot themselves out of a torpedo tube in their little sub. We know how this goes. You know, like we've seen G.I. Joe. We know what underwater man can do. You know?
You must know that before the war, Russia was the biggest supplier of fossil fuel energy worldwide, and the European Union was the biggest customer.
The bigot. There was a bit of a Freudian slip on that. She said the European Union was the bigot. I just wanted to point that out. I did not catch that the first time.
And what we did is we diversified to trusted partners. We did a lot of saving, minus 15%. But the most important is acceleration, scaling up in renewable energy. And that's why this high-level roundtable is so on the spot today. And I do not want to focus on the European domestic elements. The Chancellor has already rightly so described our goals in the European Union for green hydrogen. We have a huge investment package domestically for, we call it Repower EU, 300 billion. But I want to focus on what we're doing abroad. And here you must see this whole energy demand that was once from...
They're doing abroad. I mean, it's like 2022. We got to quit using this language. Like, we really do. It's sexist. It's wrong. Like, you can't be talking about women are women, not broads. Come on.
Russia is now shifting, if we do it right, into the global south. Because the demand should go into renewable energy, clean energy. Every kilowatt hour of renewable energy that we produce is not only good for the climate, but it's also good for our independence and our security of supply.
What? That's what it's about. Not climate. It's about their security. Like saying the quiet part.
Right. Yeah. Isn't this what it has been about this whole time?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah. Resource control. Yes. Yeah.
And that's why this moment is so decisive. To look at the global south. You have the resources in abundance.
And we want them. And we want them.
Yo, like...
Yeah.
What is necessary is the investment and the infrastructure. And that's where we have to team up. And therefore we created the...
Like an Avengers movie. We got to team up. Wakanda, Captain America.
Like this... You pause it for a second. This, having spent time in Africa, this is what makes this especially heinous to me, given like some of the African leaders who will go for this, and I'm not going to say the names right now because I know like I have friends who like certain, African leaders, and I don't want to upset them, but this is kind of what my concern is that especially in one of the more savvy ones have one foot in terms of like, for their people or whatever, and then the other foot into this bullshit. And and it's like, and I've said this to you, Reef, the idea of like in certain countries, it's like it's the illusion of, this country is doing well, or this town or city is doing well, and it's great for the people, when it really isn't for them. It's for these fuckheads like this, who are looking to try and come in and invest, and obviously try to exploit, the resources in these countries for their benefit. So, she's saying the quiet part, which but again, it's like in a room with rich fuckers.
Yeah,
who,
she's
like
playing her role of Hunger Game villain well.
Right. There's no reason for them to have filter here. So it's kind of like,
yes,
I'm just surprised that they got this on camera. So as if people us are not commenting on this.
Oh, and this
okay,
this stuff right here is going to be another one of those resources they're looking for.
Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, has this conference been reported on in mainstream media at all?
Not really. I mean, other than John Kerry went to the thing today and shook hands with that. Like, that's it. Biden's going to show up. They're going to point him in a direction. He's going to go the wrong way. Right.
So yeah, it's just like, of course, people are going to be distracted, obviously with the elections here. But it's like, but they're free to say this shit because they know, it's basically they basically just as well not have any cameras there.
Yeah,
they can just blatantly say what they want to do without any consequence.
But wait, there's more.
Oh, great.
All right, fellas, we got to tip out. Keaton's got babies, and I got work in the morning.
Yes, sir. Understood. We got you.
Big emphasis on renewable energy.
But we should let people plug before you leave. And we'll finish up.
Let's pause it for a second. Yeah, and I'm actually getting tired of this too. But
it's almost done. I promise. There's 2 slides left, I think.
So, but guys, thank you so much. I mean, considering how long streams.
Yes.
You've been doing.
We talk too much.
We talk too much. But
we're becoming like Max Headroom at this point.
But,
we only exist digitally.
But, exactly. But that being said, enjoyable stream. Thank you guys for coming on.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Tell people where they can find you.
This was a lot of fun. I appreciate it. And here, I'll put our plugs in the chat here.
Yeah.
YouTube.com/C Do Dissidence, and you can sign up at our Substack for free. Obviously, you guys are on Substack too, so you know how that works.
Yes, sir. Anything you'd like to add, Russell?
I don't think you need to do that, Keaton, because I listed everything, like your Facebook,
okay, cool.
Your website, your Twitter.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Down in that doobly-doo.
So, like I said, guys, follow these guys, they're doing good work. And they have great streams. I've been watching them, for the last month. So we've really been happy.
Thank you, man.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. That's really
so
good.
Subscribe to them, give them support. They're doing great work. And so, you guys need to go because you got a baby, and I know you got.
Well, I got to pick somebody up at the.
I got an 8-hour stream yesterday.
Yeah, I've
we went on again.
Literally, this is true. In the last 48 hours, I've live streamed for triple the amount of time that I've slept. I got to pick up my friend at the airport tomorrow at 9:30, so I got to get out of here by 6:30.
Yes, sir. All right.
Yeah, this benefits you two guys too. So, but we
love. Oh no, it was a lot of fun, man. Thank you guys so much. It was great to meet you guys. You guys were great on our show. We should partner up again. Absolutely,
definitely.
We'll do, man. All right, fam.
Right. Thank you,
good
guys.
night.
Have a good
night. All right.
All right. Have a great rest of the show, guys. Thank you so much.
You too.
Good night.
Bye-byes. How about that?